Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have a non-chill review for the summer 2024 update. This is where we talk about the actual facts of the update and what happens, the serious stuff in the game. I will have timestamps down there below if you want to skip ahead to anything that you may or may not be interested in. And if you guys do enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like and or a sub. It helps out a lot, and let's get right into things. Okay, so point number one, we have spell changes. Now, in these spell changes, we actually seen every stun in the game for advanced combat get banned. So this includes hit and stuns like Fire King Artorias, Stormlord, Myth Banshee, and this also includes other forms of stuns like choke, like single stun as well. And in terms of what's meta and all, Top Path Sun Serpent did get banned. This card is just doing way too much damage on a fire, and it's nice to see that you won't get blown up by a fire as easily in PvP. Now for the actual new spells in the game, we got new 5 and 4 pip hits for a couple of schools. The first one we have here is Brave Sir Badger for balance. Does about 400 damage, and then it'll give you a 25% damage aura. Next up, we got a death buff with Monk of Morning. Not entirely sure why KingsIsle's buffing death when it's objectively the best school in PvP and PvE, but you know, here we are to this day with another death buff and no death nerfs. That's a really cool looking spell. I just wish I was a death main. Okay, so the spell says it removes 3 shields and then it's 400 damage for 4 pips. After the ice spell for 4 pips, it does 330 damage and gives a universal weakness. Okay, cool. And lastly, we have my favorite, and that's going to be the new fire spell. This spell is just really going to be good. It hits and detonates 2 OTs. That actually might be my favorite spell. That's really cool. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the new gear set. This is supposed to compete with the Crying Sky raid gear we got last year and all, and unfortunately, I'm going to tell you guys, as you can see on screen right now, it is just not that good. It's only good for a school like Storm, because Storm doesn't get any resist stat at all in the first place. In case you guys don't know, Storm's resist cap is like 55, 56, but every school gets 55 pierce pretty much. So at that point, you might as well just drop all your resist anyways on a Storm and not shield, and then run this new gear. But other schools are not going to be able to use this new template from this gear because every other school but Storm gets value from their resist, right? So that's why I'm saying this new gear set is not good. It's only, like, it's a whole gear set just for Storm pretty much. I guess if you're a PvE player, you might want to run some of this gear. You can kind of look through it per, you know, the respective school you're on, of course, here. But it's just really, really not good, guys. And I would only recommend it if you want to play Storm or maybe a Glass Cannon Fire and all. The wands are essentially Nullity 2.0, but you don't have Pip Conserve. Instead, you actually get Shad back with a minor Pierce buff, which is pretty cool and all. I don't think they're terrible. And the decks are absolutely insane. This is hands down going to be the best deck in the game. It's just not even a comparison. It gives every stat, max Arch Mastery, a Dark Surge, a Circle Socket, and all you give up is like 100 or 200 health. Like, anybody's going to take that any day of the week, bro. So yeah, the TLDR is the deck is really good. The amulets may be decent. The wands are not bad as well, but the hat to the boots is only good for Storm. Next up, we're going to talk about the meta and the fact that KingSaw has not seemed to listen to any of the community feedback the past like 6 months or so. And in case you guys don't know, if you don't PvP, Death has been literally holding the entire game hostage the past couple of months. But the game getting more balanced every update and all, it's made the blatantly broken impressive stuff very apparent, and that's been Drains and the Death School for quite some time now. And as you can see, I am on test run right here, and we do not see any changes to Death at all, right? We still see Poison be a thing in sideboard. And if I hop on my Death as well, you're going to see that TC Wraith also isn't banned at all. And we don't see any changes at all to Drains in general, which is very, very not good at all. Dumoni is still really good. Reader is still the best shot in the game. Ghoul is still really broken. Vampire is still really broken. You know, like, I don't really know what more the school could have. I just don't know why it's not fixed and all. There's not a single downside to playing Death. If you just want to win, you play Death, and that's not healthy because there's 6 other schools in the game that have been getting neglected and ignored pretty much. And yet again, it's a Death buff with this update with Monk of Mourning. That's quite literally the only card they're missing in the entire game, and KingSaw gave that to them before nerfing the school or making the other schools more playable, which is horrible. So yeah, very disappointed, and I will not be probably doing PvP until they fix Death School, because myself and other creators have been saying this. If they don't fix the Death School problem in PvP, we're probably just not going to play. We're going to do other forms of content, because it's not fun having one school just to click any card and win. And when you have literal new recruit players getting to the top ranks just because the school they're playing on, it's a very big problem, and this should have been hotfixed. Okay, to follow up a positive on a negative point right there, we have raid gear is now accessible in the guild house. Now, you can craft any gear, the void stuff, the nullity stuff, the new daemonic stuff from the new raid actually right here. It's pretty freaking cool. The only complaint I have about the new raid is there's not really any reason to do it at all. For PvP, the gear is like not worth it because the Hunhow template and Shabubble template is better. I've been saying this for a little while now, since we got confirmation that there's Void and Nullity template. And for PvE players, which were people who did the first raid and are going to come back for this one, the issue is it's just like Walroo, because you do not get any upgrade essentially for actually going through all the work and the hardship to beat the raid, right? So if we look here, the Storm Nullity robe and the Daemonic Surge armor, whatever, it's the exact same robe, the exact same template, right guys? And all you get is 12 health, 1 pierce, and 1 damage pretty much. Like, that's not worth it. Nobody in their right mind is going to go in a raid and upgrade this robe. It's not worth it at all. Just like Walroo from Aeon to, what's it called, Reaver, it's just not worth our time. And lastly, we have tournaments. Now, tournaments are back. It's still not finalized and all. They're still working on it and all, but there are new tournament tokens, which is pretty freaking cool and all. We're not really sure how we're going to get these yet, and there have been teasers about the new gear, like the commander gear with like moon stuff on them. I'll try and find an image on screen if I can. But yeah, there's like a classic tournament mode right here with a quick match and all, which is pretty neat. And then you have the Duelist League, which is essentially a game mode, I guess, if you will, where players can do a nerfed down version of max PvP, not level scaling really. It's where you have 50% less damage and healing, but you keep like your 200 damage and, you know, your 10k health, your 70 res, but your cards are just simply split in half and the healing is split in half. I've probably done like 5 games of this so far and it's been pretty slow. It's pretty fun though, not having to worry about dying all the time on a storm. I think the only issue with this league is it's a little too slow, I would have to say, and stacking strats are just gonna run the whole meta in it. And yeah, that's everything I gotta say about the new summer update. If you guys made it this far, leave a like and a sub, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and take care, guys.